with Pugs. Him. And of course, sitting in for James Parker, Walter Sobchak. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter Sobchak. Sitting in for James Parker. I don't know where E is. He's typically along. He comes when he's, when he's ready. He'll be here. James and I, excuse me. James and I had a comedy class last night. How did you enjoy? Oh, look who's here. There he is. Look at him. He's already there. All right, E. Welcome into the Radio Misfits. Everybody's present and accounted for. I now need you, the folks in the chat room, the citizens therein. Grab your futons, your yoga mats, whatever it is, form your soul circle of life. Join hands, and let's all move forward in today's show with optimism, peace, and joy in our heart. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, E, before you popped in, I was just asking James, how's comedy class going?
I enjoy it. I'm glad no one in the outside world can see it because, I'm making an ass out of myself over and over, but it's all in the process of getting better and developing a new craft and honing some of my existing skills. So I love it.
I'm glad to hear you say that because you're right. Have you ever taken any acting classes or any improv classes or anything like theater classes?
Oh, sure. I was in theater in high school, so I started.
So you know the weird exercises that so it's best to not, walk in and try and be cool, right? Just sort of check that at the door when you walk into these sort of performance classrooms. You're going to be an ass.
Well, it goes in the other direction too. The cooler you try and be, the bigger ass you are.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm glad to hear you sum it up that way because I think it was like we burst out of the classroom, and I think the first thing I said to you was, "Thank you, James, for making me do this." I totally would, and now I feel bad for E because he was going to be a part of it too, but he's incredibly busy and all that stuff, and so I don't mean to make it seem like, oh, look what we're doing, because we'd love to have you. But I just sincerely want to say, and I think I said this sincerely to you last night, James, it was just you and me. Thank you for making me do it, because that's not the kind of thing that I do unless I'm forced to do it. And now I'm there, and I'm like, every Monday night, I'm looking forward to it.
You just had to have someone lean on you to go to the first night?
Yeah, I think it's very easy. It would have been very easy for me to not go the first night, and then just have you be. It would have been very easy. You have no idea how close we came to that. E and I talked. E and I were not going. We were not into it when we were talking on Sunday night or whatever it was. E had concerns about taking advantage of Dean that are very admirable, but I don't think that. Well, look, he's always looking out.
I just thought it was an incredibly generous offer of Dean to put not only one, but two people in the class for free. And I thought 3 people, I just didn't want us to be excessive in that.
I will say this, because you told me those concerns, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess I can see it, but having now been in it, not an issue. It's not an issue at all.
I just love Dean. I love the whole camaraderie that we've had with all the people from the past and how this voluntarily
pay.
Hey, why is there no chat room?
Well, in the voluntarily pay part then came in. I wasn't sure I could make it with the commitment that I have with what's going on right now, which I've sent you pictures.
Yeah.
That's understandable. Yeah.
So I've got to get that over the finish line. There's a lot invested in that for me personally.
Little bit, totally understandable. So back to last night. Okay. So
James, but can I give a comment already?
Oh,
Sitting here. Listening.
Well, hang on. Can I read? We're in a comedy class from Dean Lewis, the guy who was on the Jagger Morning Show. For those of you who knew us from 105.3, but he's been a comedian in Dallas since the 80s, and he's sort of like, if there was like a Groundlings or a Second City workshop, this is sort of the Dallas equivalent. It's just for stand up. But anyway, go ahead. Everybody, improv, and we're going Mondays for 6 weeks in a row. And
everybody who's come out of Dallas, and quite a few people have all taken this class. They're all students of Dean. Go ahead, E. Sorry.
And that's what I was going to say. So knowing Dean and the professionalism of Dean, particularly when it comes to that craft, knowing the people that had went through there and having watched Pugs do stand up literally in 2010, and I think I still have that somewhere in a video.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
And watching that, I thought, wow, these two guys get in there, because James just specializes in making himself an ass. So I knew he was going to be good. Like, and I saw you get into another character in that YouTube video, which I would encourage people to go do and go out and watch and do. So just look at it and look at Pugs. And now imagine you guys actually going out and doing stand-up, because that's what I said to James. I said, so do you need this in your routine? And do you see yourself going on the road and doing it? Because so many people have went through Dean's class, and these guys have went out and toured.
No, absolutely neither of us. I think we've both been completely upfront about that. James is doing this just simply as another thing to have, another technique to have for his, many jobs. And I'm doing it because simply it's just a bucket list thing. It's just something I need to get back out there.
You get asked to do stand-up.
For money, then yeah, absolutely. See, this is not new to me though. I mean, this is, I've been doing radio since 1992. My first time on a comedy stage was the Funny Firm in Chicago in the mid 90s. I mean, but I've never written an act myself. I've never gotten up. I don't know how to present it. I've always been the guy that everybody already was there to see, because I was a part of a radio show. And as Dean makes perfectly clear in this, that is not the norm. Most stand-ups, when you're up there on stage and you're opening or middling or whatever, you're not, the guy who used to be Pugs or whatever. You're just some dude in the way who's just got to kill. And one of the things that I really appreciate about what I'm doing here with Dean, I've done comedy a lot. I did stand up, here, the thing that he was talking about. I've emceed at least half a dozen shows at the Improv, not doing stand up.
And didn't Paco, God rest his soul, he wrote a lot of your material in the stand-up.
Paco never wrote a damn thing. No.
I thought he helped you.
I'm a writer. I would never let anybody write for me. No, but Paco was there with us. Yeah, Paco was like,
I thought he was like coaching you, or he gave you some crazy parts of it.
No, and that's what I'm kind of getting to, and why I'm happy to be taking this class. I think that there is a lot of us who do entertainment. I could talk on the radio for 4 hours. I'm not afraid to get up on stage. I think there's a lot of us who maybe don't respect what is actually going on when a comedian is up on stage. We take it for granted because we see it and we laugh and we're having a good time. We don't understand that there's actual a style and a technique, and there's things that he's doing up there that, so anytime I would jump up on stage and, not even maybe I'd have one or two jokes that I've had pre-written, or something like that. I jump up and now, hey, we want to say, hey, Kelly, you want to come up here? It's always that kind of thing, but I'm trying to do jokes. I'm so glad to be taking this class because I was one of those people who probably until 2 weeks ago just thought, if I ever really wanted to be a stand-up, I'd just jump up on stage and do my thing. And then over time, I'd just get good. That's wrong. I mean, I'm actually learning things. Like my first day, the first day of the class, I was a little bit like, all right, what's this going to be about? Very quickly, I realized how serious Dean was and that this was like a college course. He wasn't telling jokes. He was being serious, and he had a serious tone. And he was writing things and we were taking notes. So now that I've had this class, it's kicked into me. I mean, there is an art to it. I'm going to try and learn it this way. I don't know that what you and I are going to do on stage will be representative of what maybe we will sound like after doing it for a while, but I'm going to use Dean's techniques. I'm going to use everything that he's teaching me, and I'm going to put something together. And I'm looking forward to it. And I bet you are too.
Hey, you got to do this. Whenever the next round comes about, I want to see what happens when we squish E through this meat grinder. I want to.
But the thing is like I don't really ever see myself ever doing stand-up.
You need this not for reasons of stand-up. Look, this is something that would
editing. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning about editing. Yeah,
you're learning about word economy.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I'm not going out on a limb here. Pugs will back me up. If you're a person who has to give a PowerPoint presentation in front of the sales department once a quarter, you need this class. If you are a person who has to, one of these guys where
Okay, so it's not just for doing stand up.
Uh,
It's going to make me funnier in a presentation.
It's going to make
like
you,
that's
it's going
what
to
I'm
make you
trying
better
to
in
do.
front of people. It's going to make you better in front of people. It's going to teach you certain tricks. I'll give you one more example, James. Robbie Bowen, who is one of the most rock star sales guys out there in radio. I mean, he's a crusher, and it's because he's a stand-up comic. He's a stand-up comic who decided to go start selling radio, and he crushes because of it, because of all the techniques that he uses.
Everybody who is in an outside sales position for a corporation, your corporation would benefit. Your sales would go up if you took this class. It's 6 days is what you have to do. 6 Mondays.
6 days to sell more weed.
Well, I don't know if this is going to specifically apply to you. And I didn't mean for this to turn into a commercial. I just wanted to do at the top of the show a little bit of a, catch up for everybody, because, we don't do shows on Mondays now because of these classes. So I figured the least we can do is tell people about what we're doing in the classes.
Yeah.
I like it.
James, last night, one of the assignments that we had was we all had to write setups. Dean taught us how to write a setup. Now, again, I don't know that if I ever got comfortable, like, let's say I do start doing this, which I don't imagine, but let's say there is a little opportunity for me.
Back in the old days, I never liked the setup.
Well, this is a different kind of setup. I don't know that when I find my voice that I'll use these things, but yesterday we did setups to jokes, right? So James, what's like an example of a setup? Like, and we learned a technique. We weren't writing our own jokes. We were using a technique and then filling in the blanks, right, James?
A formula is what it is. And it's not as simple as Mad Libs, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah. And it writes jokes. It's like before you know it, you're like, hey, I got a joke here. So we did.
All right, so you have a topic.
Mm-hmm.
You emote on the topic. Then there's an act out.
I think you're gonna have to explain what emote means. What do you mean? Like your wife. So now you need a motion word.
Yeah.
She sucks.
The formula is topic, emote, act out. That's the setup. And then the punchline's a whole different thing. The punchline it has its own formulas. But for the setup, topic, emote, act out. So, man, being a father is tough.
That's the setup.
That's the setup.
That's setup. No punchlines. Now you want to hear, so that's what I was getting at. So we had to come in with 3 setups, 3 simple setups. It's not hard, just 3 simple setups. And then he goes to the whole class. He goes, yeah, but I don't want to hear your punchlines, just the setups. And like everybody in the class, everybody was like, oh, because everybody thought they had good punchlines.
Everybody wrote whole jokes.
And so everybody did the punchlines anyway. I did. A couple of you stopped. A couple of you were like little teacher's pets, but I gave the punchlines, and so did Anwar. I think Mona gave I don't know anybody in our class. I just make up names for them.
So can you give me the whole thing together? Because I'm lost.
Nah.
No.
Setup and punchline. You can't give me like a setup and a punchline.
Punchline's the whole different workshop, bro.
Yeah, that's next week. Next week we're gonna build the punchlines, and we learned a little trick.
I thought you said you already built them before the workshop.
Well, we did some of them, but
a lot of us did. A lot of us wrote our setups, and we had a punchline, so we had it there. But that wasn't
right.
what Dean wanted.
So what's wrong with giving away the punchline prior to learning how to do a punchline? You don't even know if your damn punchline's even accurate.
Because we're not ready yet. Right, James? Oh. We're not ready yet. We are vulnerable in front of you.
God, you're like a chick that sends you a picture with clothes on.
Come see us. You come see when it's Pugs versus James on stage at the Improv.
For now, we're sending you scantily clad pictures. We're not sending you full nudes.
Full nudes.
I'm sending full nude pictures.
We're not ready for that level of vulnerability.
All right. Speaking of, a bunch of stuff I want to get to today. There are some topics.
Can we talk about the blind side, dude?
Want to talk about the blind side, dude. I want to get into the blind side story because I love this story. I also want to talk about Wander Franco. And James, I got a topic here that I thought you might be interested in as well if we have a little bit of time for it. I want to delve in to the subject of shock jocks. There is a new documentary that is out. Vice made it about shock jock wars of the 90s and early 2000s. It's part of their new series, The Dark Side of the 2000s. There was an article in Radio Inc. that I found that accompanies this new shock jock documentary. And a couple of our boys, they interview 4 people, 4 experts on shock jockery. And a couple of our boys are 2 of the crew that they interview, Walter Sabo and Lee Abrams. So I thought,
Shut up! Oh, what?
Yeah, we go to Walter and Lee.
Oh man, I love a good delve. I haven't delved in a while.
So I thought maybe we talk a little bit about shock jocks if we have time. E, how about you? You got anything?
I'd just like to talk about the pictures I've been sending.
Okay. James, let's get started with The Blind Side. Is everybody up on this? Does everybody know what we're talking about here?
I think.
E, are you familiar with The Blind Side story?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Who the hell would be familiar with The Blind
Anyone
Side
who hasn't
story?
seen the movie.
It's called see, this is why you need the class. See, that was called a setup, and you pushed back and you shoved us into the.
Well, I was waiting for the punchline there, and I didn't come up with
farted
one.
in the elevator. All right, so The Blind Side is a movie that came out like, well, I don't know, 10 years ago with Sandra Bullock, and it was about this nice upper crust white middle class family, and they adopted this poor little dumb black kid, and he turned out to be an amazing football player, and he gets to live out his dream in the NFL.
Where'd the dumb part come from?
The movie. And that's part of the problem that Michael Orr has with the Toohey family. Now, did we all see The Blind Side? Because
I did.
All right. So I have to admit again here, because I admitted this afternoon, I ain't seen it. I never saw The Blind Side. When that movie came out and I saw that trailer, my God, I had to go to the emergency room. My eyes rolled back in my head so quickly. I saw from the very beginning, I thought that was just a corny piece of made-up Hollywood bullshit designed to make us all feel better about ourselves.
Well, it was pretty corny and over the top. Like I read up on the story before I ever saw the movie, just because I do radio. And when I saw the movie, it was like, oh, they're really overdoing this, and it was pretty bad. I like Sandra Bullock and whatnot, but it wasn't a good movie.
Well, it was nominated for Academy Award, and Sandra Bullock won the Best Actress. And
she did do a real good job in that movie, but the script is over the top. Like he's like, I've never had a bed before. And you're like, who hasn't had a bed before?
See,
I worked in an orphanage one summer, and everyone had a bed. That was ridiculous.
That's one of the problems that he had. See, now we all thought, I think that the movie came out and it all became a thing, and Sandra Bullock won her Oscar and she cried and she said, this is forever, this is all beautiful and all that. And I think we all just went about our merry lives, and we just assumed that the Orrs and the Tooheys, Michael Orr is the football player, the Tooheys they're just a family. They have Thanksgiving. They haven't they're not close at all, and haven't been since almost the time of the movie, stemming from when the movie was released. First of all, Michael Orr wasn't involved in the movie at all. The family sold these rights, negotiated with Hollywood. All 4 of them got checks. The mom, the dad, the son, and the daughter. They all got checks, $250,000, and reportedly 3.5% on the back end of a $300 movie, which comes to approximately $8.5 million. They're looking at almost $11 million taken from this movie. And Michael Orr, he's a rookie or whatever up there with the Baltimore Ravens. And he's like, wait a second. Did you guys get paid for this? And they're like, yeah, Michael, we got paid. So that was a big problem. Then he saw the movie. And he saw the movie of his life that these people were making all this money off of. He saw the movie of his life and he went, man, why'd you make me seem so stupid? I was never stupid. That was not a thing. And they were like, oh, that was just Hollywood script writers. And he's like, and why did you make it seem like I came from the streets and the gutter? I mean, I just had a bad apartment. I just, I didn't come from this. So he had issues with the way he was portrayed, and he had absolutely no say-so in any of it. But whatever. He's a young man. He's playing football. He's obviously got bigger things to concentrate on. Years go on. He has an incredible career. 10-year NFL career, all-pro, first-round draft pick. Probably made about $20 million, $25 million in his career. I went through his Wikipedia page and counted up all of his contracts and the guaranteed money. So he's okay. He retired a few years ago. He's 41 now. He owns a couple of businesses. And he discovered through a business deal at 41 years old. Hadn't talked to these people in like forever. He had sort of a relationship with the son, the one that he initially became friends with in school. They were lifelong buddies.
Junior.
But he ain't like talked to him either in like 2 years. And now that's interesting because that dude is now making the rounds. That kid is making the rounds, doing interviews, defending the family. So Michael Orr, after he's retired, his lawyers all come to him and they're like, you have no power over anything, dude. He's like, you can't even like change banks. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, you understand you're in a conservatorship. And he's like, what? What do you mean I'm in a conservatorship? Yeah, those people that, oh, and by the way, you're not adopted. They led him to believe that they adopted him. And they didn't. They signed him to a conservatorship, which essentially just gives them power and attorney over all of his finances and any of his business deals they have to sign off on. So at 41 years old, he goes, look, this is crazy. I'm not adopted. Now the family is disputing that he just found out that he wasn't adopted. They say, nah, a couple of years back he learned that, or whatever. But the conservatorship, the family is saying, well, when this all went down, he was close to being 18 and it would have all been moot anyway. So we didn't need to adopt him, but we did want to care for him. So the conservatorship was the best. So really they just, instead of adopting him and making him a member of their family as he was led to believe and as the movie led us all to believe, they really just made him an investment. They just made him something that they would be able to draw salaries from for as long as he was making money. Now, you think these people are terrible, like, oh, well, maybe, middle-class families. No, this family is filthy wealthy. Sean Toohey, the father, sold his fast food conglomerate for $200 million. I mean, so this family, it's not like they need little paltry left tackle NFL money. I mean, this family has money. So that's the story. The family is now pushing back, saying, oh, we feel horrible that Michael feels this way, and we just want to be a family again. And he's shooting back, family? I would never have family, and we ain't talked in 10 years, so stop acting like. So that's the story. Guys, your thoughts?
This seems to me to be very similar in the WTF took so long as to when females come out about some sexual assault that happened 10 or 15 years ago. It seems to be exactly in the same vein. And I'm going, WTF, why did it take this long for you to put 2 and 2 together and go public with it?
No, James, you seem to be jumping out of your seat.
He sees, I don't know. I did not make that connection between latent rape accusations and The Blind Side. I was cracking up because
what he's saying is, to him, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but to E, it seems like he should have noticed this a lot earlier. Why is it just coming out now? Which is the pushback to a lot of stories that I absolutely hate, because you can apply it to anything. Well, why now? Like, we're seeing it with Trump. Well, why now? Because there's an election? You know what I mean? Because no.
Well, I mean, doesn't it sound kind of odd that movie's been around this long? You haven't laid eyes on it as Michael or you haven't had somebody come to you and say, hey, Michael, that was a crazy line when you said, I never had a bed.
No, he said that back when the movie came out. He confronted
no. I think to E's point, he hasn't bought or sold a piece of real estate and had to sign a contract, or that had title insurance, background check.
Something.
That's kind of a good point. I appreciate that level of skepticism.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like he's a young man. He's still a young guy. He's younger than all of us, and he's moving on with his life and career and starting to set. He's got his own family. He's got kids, nice house,
But you don't get a credit card bill?
Well, I don't know. I think
hey.
What I think that the Tooheys probably set something up for him early on, and he just always had credit cards and always had a bank account and now he's moving on and trying to do things that he doesn't necessarily think they need to be involved in.
But you don't go on your phone app and go, where's my balance?
No, not everybody. I mean, some people might, but a 22-year-old kid who's got a crackhead mom and a dead in prison dad who, never saw a bed, according to the movie, until he was.
I've never had a bed before.
He might not know the finer points of taking care of your personal finance.
What about his agent?
Oh, you mean the Tooheys?
Oh, no.
The Tooheys were the ones who hired his agent.
He got at the University of Memphis. I'm sure he got a top-level college education.
Mississippi State.
All right.
That's the other thing that's really interesting about this story, because you see, the Tuies didn't even really do anything for him. They swooped him up already. He was already rated the number 3 offensive lineman in the country by rivals when they scooped down to the rescue. He already had every major Division I university in America beaten down his door when they swooped down to rescue him. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like I think they went, if this kid didn't have this talent, and he was also just a kid that their son met at school, would they have let that kid move in? Would they have done the power of attorney for that kid that wasn't 6'7" and being recruited by, everybody from Urban Meyer to Saban? You know what I mean?
Probably not. Probably.
Okay, and then here's how it goes even further. So all of this stuff about him going to college and where he was going to go to college and all that was already being taken care of, because you see his high school football coach, he played high school football at an elite private school. The Tuies didn't get him into the elite private school, okay? He got into the elite private school because he was this monster talent playing in some inner city horrid football program. And as always happens, the rich schools went, well, maybe we can foster him, or, so they got involved. Now, who got involved? And this is interesting. Who got involved? Hugh Freeze. Now, to a lot of us football guys, we know him as the head coach of the Auburn football Tigers. But Hugh Freeze was also head coach at Mississippi State. Before that, he was the head coach at this school in Memphis. Hugh Freeze is the one who discovered Michael Orr and let him matriculate through the fancy school. And then when Michael Orr made his commitment to Mississippi State, guess who the next season got hired as the new head coach at Mississippi State? His high school football coach, Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze is a good coach. I mean, he's currently the head coach at Auburn. I mean, he's a legit coach. But the Tuies didn't even, the way it was portrayed in the film was that, he was going off the rails. No, he had Hugh Freeze who was riding his bike or his back. Hugh Freeze knew exactly where he wanted to take this big old monster of a man and how it would help him.
But I mean, that's very much like it is today.
Yeah,
I mean,
happens. So kids get
see dads and kids and coaches and players, rise the ladder together, keeping the team together.
Francis has the question that you guys brought up. How does his NFL agent never find out? Because the Tuies set him up with his agent. And then everybody that he had any work with over the years as he grew and matured, his lawyer of 10 years, his accountant of 10, these were all people who were initially put in place by the Tuies. So, he didn't know that they were controlling the strings behind the scenes. He was a dumb kid.
All right, so here's what you do in this situation. You're Orr. All this has happened. You go back to the movie studio. You're like, time to make a sequel, bro.
Right? You fucked me.
and no, this is just as interesting of a story as the original tale that we were all led to believe is true, which was based in a kernel of truth, but ridiculous now that you know a few of the extra details. I think it's absolutely adorable that this movie's called The Blind Side, and the whole thing was a blind side. And that gives you some great options for what the title of the sequel is going to be. It could be the For Real Blind Side, or The Other Blind Side, or The Next Blind Side, or The Blind Side Part 2, or Deuce, or go, Emil. You got your hand up. Go.
No, I'm listening. I just want to make sure I've followed on after that. Where I'm looking at it, I'm going, The Blind Side is the perfect name, because my movie would be, okay, you get signed. You have that kind of money coming from where you came from. How is it that you didn't turn up at some point over the amount of money that they thought you would spend, and you not notice, wow, this money isn't coming in things that are anything that I'm recognizable to? Meaning, like, where is my name on the trust of Michael Orr?
I get it. He should have had you as an advisor. He didn't. Not everybody.
Where is my Baltimore Ravens check dropping into?
And you're saying this as a 60-year-old man who's been in 100 business deals over the past 30 years, and you're projecting these values and these ideas onto a 41-year-old dumb kid who just played in the NFL for 15 years. He's not there. I mean,
well, you're then going to go argue, well, I'm not dumb.
Okay, when
don't
you were
portray me as dumb, and that happened. Could I bring up some things that you did in your 20s that would be considered dumb today that you did because you didn't have the guidance and the outlook you have now? Yes, but
I mean, young people
this
make
is
dumb.
all-
They do dumb things. Sometimes they get away with it, and it works out. Congratulations, see. You know,
I
other
mean,
people have done worse.
yes and no to that, but there comes a certain level of awareness for the dollar.
Yeah, and that came at 41 years old for him. I mean, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but you know, what are you going to do?
I mean, it's pretty hard to take a street kid around the corner on money.
Oh, I don't know, big money. I don't know. You start talking about, you know, percentages and guarantees.
Well, big money and
bonuses
guarantee like that. Yeah, if you put him in the ozone, but he
That's what an NFL
never
player
appears to me. But he never appears to me, or and again, I'm only seeing the portrayal of the movie. It never appeared like he was like ozone like with his spending. You know, he was making a crap ton of money.
Come
you
on.
think
Yeah,
like
they didn't cover that. That's you don't know it. So,
right?
So let's
I don't. You got no idea.
I want to show you guys something. He apparently, from all appearances,
did he win a Super Bowl?
Yes, he's been in 2 Super Bowls. He won one with the Ravens, and he lost the other one with the Patriots, I think. Yeah.
I just think somewhere you would
Carolina.
see something coming with your name on it that was a bonus check or a something.
He
or
was
a
probably
something.
set up with a corporation very early on, and everything ran through his corporation. He had no idea that it was Sean and
you don't
Sandra
sign a
Bullock.
damn check.
Look. Okay, we're going in circles, man. I get it. I don't have an answer for you, but I don't think it's necessarily as criminal as you seem to be making it.
I'm not making it criminal. It just seems it's so hard to believe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's hard to believe. I could totally see it happen to me. That's all I'm saying. Just really? Checks are just coming every week. All right. My credit cards are working. We're good. You got this? All right. Steady as she goes. I could see how at 41 suddenly you get some news and you're like, what? Because anyway, I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys that this is from Saturday Night Live from all the way back when The Blind Side was out. This is a parody of the Blind Side movie. It's Saturday Night Live, man. This happens all the time. They are prescient. What we think is a stupid bit, a few years later turns out to go, wow. So this is Saturday Night Live from a few years back. This is a Blind Side parody. Let's watch.
Shall we say grace? Heavenly Father.
She had the perfect family. An adoring husband.
Why you smile?
I don't know, I'm just happy.
And an ideal life. But she also had a dark secret. She liked to collect
Hey.
football players.
Do you have any place to stay tonight?
Yes, I have a place to stay.
Don't you dare lie to me.
Lady, I'm not lying. I'm Peyton Manning. I have a couple of homes.
Come on.
Fine, but only because you're freaking me out.
And now this quarterback
Oh, and Sean says all the pro athletes use futons if they can't find a bed big enough. But I got you something nicer.
is in a game of life and death.
I've never had one before.
What, a room to yourself?
No, a crazy lady holding me against my will.
Well, I have one now.
Starring Academy Award winner Sandra Bullock.
Mike?
Eli, this is serious.
Eli.
And four-time NFL MVP Peyton Manning.
The crazy lady is holding me prisoner in her house.
Big Mike?
She keeps calling me Big Mike. Stop laughing. It's not funny.
Was she crazy about football or just crazy?
That's another thing. We need to find out more about his past.
He won't talk about it. He's like an onion. You have to peel him back a layer at a time.
Not if you use a knife.
She wouldn't let anyone get in her way.
Michael needs a B. What does he have to do to deserve that?
First of all, his name's not Michael. He's very clearly NFL quarterback Peyton Manning. That would be him. And second of all, I can't give him a B because of how badly he's doing in class. Let me read you his essay about a tale of two cities. Help, Please help me. Call the police. I'm Peyton Manning, and I've been kidnapped by the lady from Speed.
Well, that's it. We're sunk.
We're sunk. No, you're sunk. Because you see, I've contacted the authorities, and they're, oh my God, you poisoned my coffee.
See the film Archie Manning called Terrifying. Tony Dungy says it's spine-tingling. And Bill Belichick raves it's hilarious.
We want to know if you would like to become part of this family.
Let me ask you kids something. She kidnapped you as well? And if I say no, something terrible is going to happen to me? So I guess my best bet is just to pretend I'm a teenager, even though I'm 34. All right, I'm in. Let's do it. You okay, kid? Is everything okay in there?
The Dark Side.
How's he doing?
Haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet.
It's because I'm playing offensive line. I'm a quarterback. Sorry, Mama.
In theaters, never.
Hey, you're Peyton Manning.
No, my name's Michael. Michael.
The Dark Side.
Saturday Night Live knew there was something shady with that family. Something was up. All right. I got nothing else we can tell you. All right, I do have another sports story that we can jump into, James. In E, I don't know if you're following this one, but this one I'm fascinated by. This one's complicated, man. This one really requires you to break out of your suburban American raised mindset, and kind of. I know maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It's getting weirder and weirder. Are you guys following the Wander Franco story? The Wander Franco, for those of you who don't know, probably the best young baseball player. And I say young because Shohei Ohtani's better, but Wander Franco plays for the Tampa Rays, shortstop. He's a god. He's an absolute five-tool monster. He was the number one rated player in the minors. The Rays signed him to a $185 million contract, 11-year, $185 million contract when he was still in AAA. So he's been up now. He's an all-star, and he's having a year. Wander's been put on the restricted list by Major League Baseball, as well as suspended by the Tampa Bay Rays during a playoff run. I mean, you're a fan of that division, so the Rays, they're always pushing. This is
just. Are you anyway?
Yeah. So you're familiar with the story? I mean, being an AL East guy, I figured you would be. James, are you familiar with the story at all? You know where this is going?
No, I don't know where this is going.
It's okay. So it's a baseball story. It's a very big deal that this team doesn't have their star at this very important moment in what has been, another great season for the Rays. The Rays are a good ball club. They're contenders perennially. Here's why. So over the weekend, a girl took to Instagram who lives in the Dominican Republic, and she posted a whole bunch of pictures of herself and her boyfriend, Wander Franco. She also posted a whole bunch of pictures of her baby, pictures of her drinking, pictures of her driving around a fancy car.
Oh.
And she's 14. She is 14 years old. This is why Wander Franco, 22-year-old Wander Franco, Dominican superstar, is no longer in the lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, how did we get here? How did we end up to a place where she's putting this stuff online and she's outing him?
What the hell?
Apparently, for the last few years, she has been receiving checks to keep her mouth shut because she's 14 years old, or so she claims. We don't have any confirmation of that. She doesn't look 14. I've seen pictures of her. She looks older than 14. Certainly doesn't look 30, but she doesn't look 14. I'll give her that. She says she's 14. She's got a 2-year-old baby, which people are saying is Wander Franco's. You want to do the math on that?
Oh, no.
That means
2-year-old baby?
At 20 years old, he knocked up a 12-year-old. Now, I was saying on the High Noon Show, because it's been trending all week, so we've been talking about it. And I said, look, this is, we got to find out some facts here. If he's a 22-year-old Dominican guy and this is his 17-year-old Dominican girlfriend, the cultural things, I don't know. Maybe that's fine. But if this girl ain't 17, if this girl is 14, I said jokingly, I said, if this girl's 14, he's cooked. And then we find out the
cooked.
14.
Cooked. He needs to be out.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yes.
Play another pitch in that league. Period. Zero.
Okay.
Zip. Zilch.
Okay. James, any thoughts on what I've just told you? I don't disagree with you, E, but I do think there's a conversation to be had here. James, any thoughts? Not that would justify it. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm leaning to. Go ahead, James.
I mean, is this what they do in that country? Is that illegal in the country where he's from?
It is. It is illegal.
Okay.
Police in the Dominican Republic have now opened a criminal investigation into whether or not this child is 22-year-old Wander Franco's and is she 14. So it is illegal, thankfully, because you're right.
Well, not to mention who recruited him, who had him in their farm system and approved this guy coming out of there. And you're telling me you didn't do some due diligence yet again on this chick getting checks the whole route around, and it took until now?
Well, let me give you a little bit of a background here because you raise an interesting point. What kind of person is 22-year-old Wander Franco? I'll tell you what he is. He was raised on a hillside, probably in a cardboard box. And at 12 years old, he was taken out of his home because he could play baseball. He stopped being educated at 12 years old and was moved to a scout's farm where he and a bunch of other young prospects from the age of 12 on learned how to be baseball veal. And that's why he was the number one prospect.
But how did he find out he had a kid?
Wait, what?
When did he find out he had a kid?
Well, were you listening? He's been paying her for 2 years. He's been for 2 years.
Right, but I would imagine prior to 2 years, he knew he had a kid.
Yeah. What does that have to do with it?
Right. So how does anybody then that drafted him or recruited him or watched him play in the Dominican?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Did not see his interaction with this girl.
Of course they did. He's a product. He's a multi-million-dollar future for them. Of course, they watched him like a hawk, and they thought they could control it.
So anybody associated to that recruitment, in that arm of getting that poison into MLB, should be barred from that transaction. Yeah. Not just him.
Yeah. Jeff in the chat room says, quit trying to justify it by saying, quote, is it normal in their country? I don't think that's what we're saying. I think what I was trying to justify was if she was like 17. I don't think anybody's trying to justify a 14, or in this case, what would be a 12-year-old if we're going to believe it all. Well, if we're going to believe all of it, and we don't know what to believe because none of this is certified. That's why Major League Baseball is doing an investigation.
Right, but if I'm hearing 21 and 12, dude, you cannot tell me at 21 you don't know it's wrong at 12. Right. But you don't need a human in the room other than your own damn 21-year-old ass.
If you're 21 and you're Wander Franco, do you know what kind of ass you could be pulling in Miami or Tampa or wherever the hell he is? Come on, he's a pedophile. If he's that guy and he's attracted to a 12-year-old, he's a pedophile. That's pretty clear to me. But, oh Jesus, I lost my fucking train of thought.
It's hard. It's hard to keep a train of thought because you're like going, how the F did we get here? Like there's a lot of people involved in this train of slop.
Okay. Yes. And his life is not. This is why I keep saying we can't project our values because we weren't taken out of a hillside favela at 12 years old and thrown into a baseball camp with a bunch of other kids we don't know and raised like baseball veal. He's got a different worldview and perspective.
But somebody knows his past.
Right. So now, again, let me finish because I'm not trying to justify him if he is in fact a 22-year-old man attracted to a 12-year-old or a 20-year-old attracted to a 12-year-old. That's a pedophile. Well, what I'm trying to say is that, man, the world is different. People look at things differently. And I don't know. We need to learn more about this. This kid, again, taken out of school. He came from a culture and a society that thought it was perfectly fine to steal a poor kid away from his family, stop educating him, and just teach him how to shag ground balls. That's
the only thing we need to know is the DNA test results of the girl, him, and the kid. That's the only thing we need to know.
Right, and that will.
Once that comes up, All the rest of it, okay,
He
is
said, she
going to
said.
be true or false.
Well, okay. All right. So the kid is a wild card because that's only speculation. The pictures that she's showing of this kid claiming to be in a relationship with Wander Franco for a number of years. So why did she start going public? She started going public because the check stopped. She had been receiving payment. She said, I'm doing this because they've been paying me to keep me quiet for the last couple of years, and the checks have stopped coming. And so here I am, his 14-year-old girlfriend. This is my baby. She didn't say our baby, but everybody was like, ooh, she's going to drop that one, So whatever. So that's why she went public with it, because he stopped paying her the hush money, according to her.
Well, we're a DNA test away from the truth.
Yeah.
That's all we are.
James, I saw you were Googling some stuff. Did you see the pictures of her? Laura Donna Chevalier?
Bro, I am not having that bandwidth go through my router. I am not looking at
These are just Instagram pictures.
Sex crime victim. That's cool. We'll pull it up on your computer then.
There it is. There we go. All right. This is her. This is Laura Donna. Laura Donna Chevalier.
We did it at the same time. Did it again.
Why? Why are you doing it? Just
helping.
Filthy hands off it. I'm doing it. All right. You got it? Thank you. All right. So that's Laura Donna on the left. That's a 14-year-old in the Dominican Republic. That's what I mean. She doesn't exactly look like a 14-year-old. And there's, of course, Wander. Wander's here. Let me see. What do we know about her? Here, more pictures? Yeah, maybe we got more pictures of her. Nope, that's basketball. Okay, so
she's an Instagram model, I think.
Oh, yeah, isn't everybody?
14.
Is she a 14-year-old Instagram model? Okay.
From the Dominican with a baby. Yeah.
What did it say? Hopefully this means Wander is innocent, and there was like a picture of an alcohol bottle.
Yeah, I'm showing you this. This is somebody trying to prove that she's not. This is from her Instagram. This is some of the stuff that she put out. She's racing around in a car.
She has to be like of age, and she's just doing this to get money out of him. I won't tell everybody I'm 14 and I got your baby.
That's her and her 2-year-old baby.
Oh my
God. She's right there. So yeah, these were pictures from her Instagram that she put up with the pictures of her and Wander and, saying, I'm his 14-year-old girlfriend. She might not even see. This is the thing. Nobody has gotten her. There's just one report that says her name is Laura Donna Chevalier, but nobody else is running with that. We don't even know if she's really 14. She might be 20. She might
and just
trying to ruin his career. She might just be pissed. He is now living in Florida. He's $180 million. She's still living on a hillside in the Dominican. He doesn't call her anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, she might.
Yeah, but dude, if this is true, 200,000 in a Mercedes, is what Jeff is saying is what she wanted. Like that's
nothing.
Chump change off $180 million contract.
That is nothing, especially when you consider that, how is this affecting the Rays? I haven't seen how they've been playing since all this went down, but their best player.
I don't even care how it's affecting the Rays.
Well, of course, you know what I'm saying. There are larger issues here if this girl is just making this up. If this girl is making it up because she's a young lady scorned, she doesn't like that her boyfriend is now forgotten about her and he's dating supermodels on South Beach, and this is how she's going to take him down.
But what investigation do I need to do other than, okay, you say it's true, give me a DNA test, and we as Major League Baseball will make sure that somehow you get a shot at his remaining contract money. If you prove that you are the mother and that is a kid, we're going to step in and we're going to crush this guy's party train. That's what needs to happen. If they're going to come in and they're going to do an investigation, they're going to do something worthy. Okay, if you're saying that's the case, we'll go to bat for you, submit your kid, and you do a DNA test. And we got Wander's. We've drug tested him already. We know what his DNA is.
They got to find her. They can't find her. That's why the Dominican Republic has opened an investigation to look at this from their end, because all of this is down there. Baseball is just simply responding to the social media posts.
And if I'm him, I'm lawyering up now.
Well, yeah. Apparently on
And I'm
Sunday,
probably headed out of the country back to the Dominican, where my 181 million is like 500 million.
Yeah, right. Why would you ever leave there? He was in the dugout on Sunday, although on Sunday, that was before Major League Baseball made their official announcement. So he didn't play on Sunday. And the story started to leak on Sunday afternoon. So the reporters down there started to ask the Rays manager, why isn't he playing? And the Rays manager was very defiant. And he's like, well, I'm just giving him a rest. Well, within a couple of hours, we learned, no, that's not it. In that game, apparently he left in the 5th inning. When it all started hitting, like on social media and all that stuff, he was not playing because obviously the team had been made aware that this was coming. So they kept him out. It was his bobblehead day too. So
his bobblehead day, and he left the dugout. Yeah, he left the dugout on his bobblehead day.
Yeah, in the 5th inning he left, and they haven't seen him since.
Imagine what jersey sales have been like since this is leaked. Like if you've clicked on and bought a Wander Franco jersey since this is leaked.
He's crazy good too. Like as a baseball fan, it would really suck if like this is all true and he can no longer play because the Japanese leagues and the Korean leagues are about to get a really good player. Yeah, he's a good player. I am not 100% sold that it's true. If you could not tell from the way I think that she might just be a woman scorned. I think she might just be. She doesn't look 14 to me. She just doesn't. I don't want to make him down there in the DR, but that ain't.
But, all right, so I'm the dude.
My son is 14.
That she's accusing, and I know that she's over age.
Yeah.
I'm running to wherever and going, wait a minute, this is killing my public image. I'm being portrayed as a sexual predator with a 12-year-old. I mean, you have got to know, or somebody in your public relations or your agent or for the Devil Rays who's now suspended you is going, wait a minute, dude. If this is true,
these are pro athletes. These are some of the dumbest, most self-centered. I don't just talk about pro athletes. I'm talking about pro athlete management. I'm talking about team management. These are some of the biggest ego-driven narcissists who think that they are masters of the universe. If they feel they are comfortable enough trying to cover something up, they'll do it 100% of the time. Listen to E sitting here acting like they're men of conscience.
Well, I look at like Michael Irvin, like what happened to him prior to the Super Bowl, right?
Oh, yeah. Whatever happened there? We never heard. I'm thinking something.
Right, but he got on the offensive, and he was like real early on, this is not the way that went down. And he came out with his side of the story, I mean, essentially as it was breaking. And we're still not, that I recall, to the end of that. I don't think he's been accepted back. You know, it is in the same, he's still got that lingering on him, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, he's like the top candidate to replace whoever the guy is on Undisputed. It's between him and Keyshawn Johnson.
Right, but he was iced for a bit because of this.
I don't even know what that
type of
Here's what I know about that story. I know what the allegations were because on the day they came out, they made a big deal of it. And boy, oh boy, was he a dirty, bad boy. And then nobody said anything about it. And now here we are 9 months later. I have no idea if any of it was true. But in my mind, Michael Irvin did something that night because the media never made an attempt to clear it up.
To switch it.
No, never.
Yeah. Right, never. There was zero attempt to do it, and that's what I'm saying here. It's like, do I judge Wander Franco because they slimed him like this and he hasn't clapped back? Michael Irvin, I remember, clapped back. He was like, this is a bunch of BS. This did not happen, yada, yada, yada. And it just seems like maybe he's on the right side of that because now he's a candidate again. And that just kind of disappeared. And for him, having the prior history of the Red Roof Inn and, you know, getting caught doing things that he shouldn't have been doing, I think this is a guy that you were going, well, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I'm trying to see if there's any update on this, Michael. I'm trying to see how this was A lot of arrests. How far back you want to go with Michael Irvin arrests? I got all of his arrests.
Well, but I mean, he's somebody that you would think would have a tough time weathering that storm.
2007 sexual assault allegation, 2009 carjacking, multiple arrests, Scissorgate, victim, victim of alleged carjacking. Did he fake a carjacking? Did Michael Irvin do something? Did Michael Irvin do something, get in trouble, try and figure out a way to cover it up and fake a carjacking?
That doesn't sound.
Well, no, this I think this happened but it was something the hotel released information or released video of him, and that went on then to lead to these charges. Super Bowl, Super Bowl weekend.
Hold on, we're getting to that. We're going to ramp up that. But I didn't know about this carjacking. On January 12, 2009, Irving claimed he was a victim of a possible carjacking attempt while stopped at a light in Dallas, probably on Harry Hines. Let's see here. He filed a police report claiming the two men flashed a gun at him, but eventually drove away after commenting that they were Cowboys fans. Dallas police suspended their investigation 2 weeks later, stating that Irvin did not cooperate and that they could not proceed without his cooperation. Okay, so whatever that's about. 2017, there was a sexual assault investigation into him. All right, here we go. Super Bowl alleged misconduct. NFL Network removed Irving from its coverage of the Super Bowl in February of 2023 after allegations of sexual misconduct towards a woman at his hotel in the Phoenix area. Though surveillance video showed him interacting with the woman, Irvin told Dallas-Fort Worth radio station that he had no recollection of any incident because he had been inebriated. He also denied there was any wrongdoing. In November 2000. Well, that's it. That's the whole story. There is we don't know.
Well, we saw the video from the hotel.
Yeah.
We covered it on this show.
So a check.
And what did the video look like?
It looked like a guy who was trying to shoot a shot. It didn't work, and she moved on.
Yeah, that's all.
He did touch her arm, but that was it.
He was definitely like hitting on her. They could tell that from the body language. He wasn't innocent the way he said, but I didn't see anything that was necessarily worth destroying a man over. Certainly not anything that should take that dude
Was
down.
It like the Joe Namath, I want to give you a kiss?
I don't even think it was that bad. First of all, I didn't think that was bad. I thought that was adorable. When Joe Namath told Susie Colbert he wanted to kiss her, that was cute. Drunk Joe.
You wouldn't get away with that today, though.
I don't know. I think some people could, lovable.
No, these days they throw them in the wood chipper feet first.
Yeah, I think it depends. It depends on who does it. It depends on who does it. As we discovered organically today during the High Noon show. Do you guys know who Anthony Anderson is?
Yes, the black guy.
Anthony Anderson. He's
he brings his mom out a lot.
Oh, he's lovely.
He does like a show with her.
Oh, he's terrific. He's got Blackish. He's executive producer on the spinoffs, Grownish, and all this stuff. He's just a big, lovable. Everybody loves him. He raped 3 women. Why hasn't he been canceled?
He did?
Well, he's been accused of raping 5 women throughout the 2000s in LA. Yes. Anthony Anderson's been arrested. Go ahead, pull him up on Wikipedia. Read all of this shit and then go, hold on. Louis C.K. can't work anymore, but this guy is the star of Blackish? What the... Pull up Anthony Anderson. Go ahead. Pull up all the sexual assault and rape charges that he's dodged over the years. Women.
But I mean, wouldn't you be thinking the same thing about Kevin Spacey? And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, he was just cleared of everything?
No, because Kevin Spacey, I just think he's just a creepy old gay guy who, Anthony Anderson was accused of raping women, doing crazy stuff with them in a dressing room and tying them up and beating them and digitally penetrating them. And he's the star of Blackish. This is the Me Too
digitally era. What's digitally penetration?
Digital penetration. What do you think that means?
I got no idea. I'm out of my
fingers are your digits. It means he fingered her.
Oh, I thought you meant some camera. Oh. I was like, what the hell? Digitally.
Yeah, I can see how you might say that. That makes sense. Here, I don't know what you're looking at.
And in 2004, he is accused of committing an aggravated rape of a 25-year-old extra on one of his films.
Yeah. Nothing ever happened to him. He's got an entire column, on Wikipedia, how it says early life career film. He's got an entire link, rape and sexual assault allegations. And he's one of the most successful TV stars in TV. I don't understand it. Anderson was accused of raping a 25-year-old extra in a trailer on the films. This is Hustle and Flow. This is where he was digitally penetrating her. The alleged victim accused Anderson and assistant director Wayne Witherspoon of forcibly removing her clothing, photographing her naked body, and digitally penetrating her. A witness claimed to have heard the alleged victim's screams and to have seen her run naked from the trailer. They got an eyewitness.
Jesus.
And she was treated at St. Francis Hospital. She actually went to the hospital. The charges were dropped on October 6, 2004, because the judge ruled that there was no probable cause to try the case. I don't know what that means. Anderson was sued again for sexual assault in September of 2004 by another woman who claimed that Anderson made sexually suggestive remarks and then assaulted her in the dressing room on the set of All About the Andersons, another sitcom that he had. He's just raping girls on network sitcoms. And this is back in 2004. And in 2022, in the age of Me Too, he is untouchable.
Yeah, allegedly, reportedly, whatever.
On July 20th, you think we're done? On July 20th, 2018, it was revealed that he was being investigated by the Los Angeles Police Department for another sexual assault allegation. James, let me do, you got a calendar there? 2018 seems to be smack dab in the middle of the height of Blackish success and the Me Too movement, and the Los Angeles Police Department was looking into him. How come we didn't hear about this?
I have no idea. I don't have an answer for that.
Isn't this crazy? Isn't this insane that we have seen people drummed out of careers for like minor things because they were soft targets? There's this new show coming out, this new movie, The House of Usher, and I can't think of the gentleman's name, but he's some old, like 85-year-old man. He's been in a million things. If the name popped in my head and you'd all go, oh yeah, that guy. Like I can't think of his name. Anyway, he was supposed to play the patriarch on this movie. And he got Me Too'd off the set because he hugged someone too long, because a young girl got hugged by him too long. This is like a 90-year-old actor who's beloved and I'll figure out his name. His career over because he hugged a young 25-year-old production assistant for like a second too long. She felt uncomfortable. She went to somebody and suddenly he's being recast. He can't work anymore because he's an old perv. Anthony Anderson, the star of Blackish. Why?
Who has the background noise with the kids echoing?
Oh, that may be me. I'm sorry.
Oh, do you got Dom? Is Dom there?
It's a TV. I can shut the door. Hold on.
Oh, no.
I do. I hear it now. I couldn't hear it with my...
Don't worry about it. It's the end of the show. You're fine.
Yeah, we're done. I just want to find out who this dude is in the House of Usher.
I mean, this like always amazes me how certain people can bury things and other people get little skirmishy things and they get wiped out. But and I guess it is what it is.
The Fall of Usher. It's the fall of the House of Usher is an upcoming gothic horror drama miniseries created by Mike Flanagan, loosely based on a story. It's coming Edgar Allan Poe story coming to Netflix October of 2023. All right. So I'm gonna tell you who this old guy was that they ran off the. Frank Langella. Okay, so Frank Langella. You guys know who Frank Langella is? He's this guy.
No idea.
Yeah, you do. You'll see him and you'll go, oh, of course. He's been in the...
Back guy?
What guy?
No, that's what I'll say when I see him.
Exactly.
I'll go.
You'll go, oh, yeah, that guy. He's in everything all the time and has been for a million years. He's just one of those old guy actors that nobody should have a problem with, but he's no longer allowed to work because he hugged a girl too long. Here he is. That's Frank Langella. Look at him. You know this guy, right?
Yeah.
There he is. He always plays like a wise, smart, serious older man, banker.
I remember him in that role there, that like looking that way.
That one?
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at him as a kid. He can't work anymore. He's not allowed to work anymore, but Anthony Anderson can have spin-offs galore.
He gave a lurking hug.
Yeah, he can't. The Frank Langella. You look that up. That poor guy. Oh, wait,
It says he was in the 1997 movie Lolita, which probably doesn't help.
yeah, that was long before. By the way, that's the bad Lolita. That's not the one you want to watch if you're going to watch a Lolita.
He was in the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito buddy movie Junior.
There's nothing here, but good for him. There's nothing on his
In
thing.
1987, he was Skeletor in Masters of the Universe. Oh, wow.
Yeah. 2006, nominated for an Academy Award for his portrayal of Richard Nixon in Frost Nixon. That was good. He was good in that.
Masters of the Universe, clearly a superior movie.
Than Frost Nixon.
Dolph Lundgren, bro.
All right. I'm trying to find personal life. Let's go into his personal life. All right. No, there's nothing in it. Somebody is taking care of him. Somebody is taking care of his Wikipedia page because there is nothing about the scandal that got him kicked off that show. And we covered it on the High Noon Show. So I know it's a thing. I was hot about it. I was so angry because he just seems like such a decent old man.
All right.
All right. We got nothing else. James, anything you want to plug?
Nope.
No, nothing. All right, then go away. Both of you. Fine. That's the way you guys want to be about it. All right, we're going to wrap this show up. He's James Parker.
I have got my poetry.
God, that's loud.
I have got my song.
Turn that down a little. See you tomorrow at noon. What do you say? We rally back here? By the way, you radio misfit people, come check out the noon show. The chat room's been rocking lately. It's growing. Numbers are much bigger. Very nice. Very nice scene we got happening there. Yeah, tomorrow at noon. High noon. Hot topics, current events, trends, all of those things. I'll give them to you one after another. Non-political, everyday current events, rip and read, news coverage, and hot takes. That's what I give you Monday through Friday at noon. And then we'll do this. The Radio Misfits. 9 o'clock. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. At least for the next 4 weeks or so. That's it. I got nothing else for you. Love you guys. We'll see you. Bye.
The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the greed.
Got greed.
Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.